Hey guys, Sklar Brothers here with Dan Van Kirk, and we've got
Matt Walsh
from Veep. He is on Dumb People Town this week, and the riffing is fantastic. Tune in, check it out, enjoy it. If you've ever asked yourself, how much Taco Bell can I get for a blowjob? We answer that question.
Or how much a blowjob will get you in Taco Bell.
That's the answer.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna have to tune in to find out.
Yeah.
On this week's Dumb People.
Surprising answer too, by the way.
Very surprising.
Very surprising.
Also, Christiana Amanpour. Kidding, she's not on the show.
Hi, it's Dan Harmon. If you're like me, you're a big fan of Harmontown, the podcast, and you wish that you didn't have to wait so long for it to drop after we record it. But here's the thing. Jeff Spencer, take it.
You do not have to wait.
You can not only hear it right after it happens, you can watch it too in delicious, deluxe, high-definition multicam on your browser or your mobile phone.
We do edit some stuff out sometimes. Like, I'll say something so incredibly racist that we will catch it right before it drops as a podcast.
But you get to watch Dan right before the sedition hearing when he talks shit about Trump again.
Right.
Sometimes we have really famous guests, but we just cut it out of the podcast entirely.
Because it turns out they're pedophiles.
Sometimes Spencer's never wearing a shirt.
Most of the time. We put that in post.
Not to mention all the times you always hear people laughing at something that doesn't sound funny because someone is making a funny face or wearing a funny shirt.
Yeah, for $5 you get to watch all that stuff. You can see the weirdos sitting down, like getting nervous on camera. There's like one camera that's just right up someone's nose, and they're always picking their nose and stuff like that. That's good.
As if that wasn't enough, here's some political incentive. We will match your new subscription to the Harmontown live feed up until April 15th. The day of the big tax march, we'll match it with a donation to the ACLU,
which stands for a clue, which is what you should get.
And I know that's triggering your thought of going, doesn't the ACLU now have $800 million? Because, but here's the thing, ACLU money is like toilet paper money. It never expires.
But if political encouragement weren't enough, some apolitical encouragement is if you sign up, you get access to a year and a half of our back catalog of video episodes, including the tour in Australia and Harmon Country, as well as audio downloads on the night of the record, on just minutes after it airs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many times have you been listening to Harmontown for free after Wednesday and thought, I would really want to know what that guy looks like or what she looks like, or I want to see exactly how uncomfortable the audience is when Adam Goldberg is on stage. Mm-hmm. Now, for $5 a month, you get to see it as well as hear it. You can almost taste the Harmontown. Go to harmontown.com/live for your subscription to watch us as well as hear us. It really, really is a taste treat. Dan gave me little eyebrows.
I was like, holy shit, that guy just hit the bullseye. It really is a taste treat.
Feral Audio.
Good enough. From Hollywood, California, it is my pleasure and duty to announce that Harmontown is once again in session. Spencer Crittenden to the stage. Spencer. How's it going, buddy? I'm bad. All right, well, let's bring out the mayor of Harmontown, shall we, Mr. Dan Harmon?
Thank you very much. So you came here from LAX. I came here from LAX.
Well, where were you?
I was in Las Vegas.
What was going down in Las Vegas?
Chris McKenna's birthday.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, played some. I'm an awful gambler, which is good because that means I never will develop a problem. Like, I'm so bad at it that it's never fun. Like, I just do that thing that, you know, where I've lost 3 times in a row, so I'll bet 6 times as much, and then I'll break even. And like, I just keep doing that until $1,000 goes, which is 5 minutes later, and then I go get another $1,000, and then the ATM says you can't do that, and I go, okay, I'm done gambling.
What's your game?
I like blackjack the most if I can control myself. As you know, you can sit there like a blackjack. What you should do is just fucking follow the rules, and then you're just drinking for free, sitting at a table with some friends for possibly hours and hours, and you're up and you're down and you're up and you're down, and if you say in your head, okay, I'm going to lose $500 maybe, let's say. But the thing is, this was the Cosmopolitan Hotel. It was like $25 minimum tables. Like it's just like that's $25.
I've heard from people,
that's a half of a video game.
I've heard from people there that that's not a great place to gamble. Like, nobody has ever had a good story of gambling and winning and having fun there. But
I have.
you have?
Yeah.
You enjoy the Cosmopolitan?
I went and got $25 on the free card, and I spent it, and I won 100.
Dang.
All right. Well, not to be outdone, I also won $25 because I got a triple bazinga on the Big Bang Theory machine. 3 bazingas should be more than $25. I don't even watch that show, and I know a bazinga's important.
You got 3 bazingas and all you got was 25?
Yeah.
What was your coin?
Well, I guess the guys that write the slot machine get home by 5 too.
Now,
still better.
Why were you playing this? You were playing it ironically, I assume.
Well, I guess I kind of thought it would be hilarious if I hit like a huge jackpot on the Big Bang Theory machine. But I also thought it would be funny if I lost $1,000 on the. In either case, I was gonna, I knew I was gonna tweet Bill Prady, my friend who I think is still running it, and I don't know. It's fun to have friends that are so much, they're so successful that you can kind of openly hate them. Like, you just go like, hey, Big Bang Theory, suck my dick. You guys suck, and they're like, we don't care. We're snorting diamonds. Like you could say whatever you want. There is a place. I was in Death Valley over Thanksgiving. There is a gas station / mini mart, actually quite a sizable establishment, and it is called Eddie World. And the logo is a photograph of a child that I am told is the deceased child of the owners, after which they named the mini mart, and it's really weird. And that's it. I spent a lot of time.
It is called Death Valley,
Yeah, that's true. I spent a lot of time. I don't know. I was really high, and Cody was laughing, so I started recording it because I didn't want to. Because I knew if I tried to do it here, she'd be like, "Why are you doing jokes about a dead kid?"
Because they're hilarious.
But I did like. I'll see if. Let's see. Because I was coming up with jingles, kind of trying. Oh wait.
There's a world where you don't have a sandwich, in a world where we don't have our sun. Supplies at a place where you can come get everything. Come where we don't have everything, cause we lost the most important thing in our lives. Eddie World. Glasses. Eddie World. Our son can't come back. Eddie World. Just come and get some candy. Eddie World. Our hole will never be quite filled.
I think there's something. It goes on for 7 more minutes. And now you're applauding a child's death, but everybody out there voted for Trump, so I'm sure Eddie did too, or he would have.
Man, speaking of child death, I was driving through a cemetery, and the cemetery had all these weird street names that were all like kind of noble and gravity, like heavy. It was like Noble Spring and like Golden Dawn and stuff. And I found myself on a street that was called Babyland. And that's a terrifying realization to have when you're really high in a cemetery driving around. And like right at the head of Babyland was this giant like statue of a baby that was kind of like, yeah, it was like, nope, there's definitely babies buried on this property. And then I left. It was great.
That's
Babyland. I think a lot of cemeteries have a Babyland too. I don't think that's unique.
No.
Babyland's a terrible name, though.
On the lighter side of child development, I guess you'd call him my pseudo nephew because I'm dating his aunt Ryland, who if you follow my Instagram, maybe you've seen him, the president of Train Town kid. He's 4 years old, and he was learning to drive on his grandpa's lap, like in Death Valley. Like his grandpa was just steering with the hands on the bottom, but he was like thinking he was driving, and we asked him. Asked him after he finished, after he finally got tired of driving, which was an exhilarating experience for him. I said, "Ryland, how do you feel?" And he said, "I feel like I'm 5 years old," which was pretty amazing because he wasn't being glib or ironic. Like he didn't know how funny that was. He really was like, that's how to express. He's like, in his 4-year-old mind, like being 5 is gonna have more energy to it. I guess he's right. I guess it's not until you turn like 13 that you start dying, right? Like as soon as you can reach the faucet, like it's all downhill. Yeah.
I think
well, it's the reproductive hormones probably hit your bloodstream and then they start killing your body, right? Because it's like we're like mosquitoes. Like nature's saying, like, okay, time to make more of you, or what good are you? And also, if you can do that, bye. Yeah. Well, nobody's getting out alive. I don't know why you're so quiet.
Did you enjoy your Death Valley experience? It looked like you had a lot of fun.
You laughed at Eddie's death.
Yeah,
maybe have a chuckle at your own. Wouldn't be a bad idea karmically, I think. Yeah, speaking of death, I mean, like I said, everybody out there voted for Trump, and it's funny because as a liberal, you're out there, like, I like, when I got to Death Valley, I was like, oh God, this is where I need to come now that Trump got elected. But the place is filled with a bunch of people that are like, oh, this is where I need to be now that Obama got elected. Like they're just walking around with guns on their hips and like they've created their own little world and like everybody's from somewhere else. Nothing is born in Death Valley. They tried with Eddie and he just like
the name, the warning is in the name of the town. You don't do it.
Yeah. Did you know it's the hottest place on Earth? You would think it's somewhere in Africa or the Middle East or something or the equator. Like it's the hottest goddamn place on Earth, recorded anyway. 135 degrees. And every the hottest day of the year, people gather and watch the temperature needle passing out from heat stroke. They all wait to celebrate if it gets up to 136 or whatever it is.
It doesn't get that hot in Saudi Arabia or like.
I would have thought, but apparently they used to think not as that. Yes, that is the case, but then there was some kind of thermometer recalibration or something. Like they were using they were using Chinese steel in their thermometers over in Saudi Arabia.
Chinese steel is the cologne I'm wearing right now.
Eddie World. We've got everything but Eddie. Eddie World! If we haven't got it, it's our son! Eddie World! Our prices aren't just low, they're misdirected grief!
Are these all written down?
What?
Are you riffing these, or are these all written down?
I opened my notepad, I saw a couple of them. I'm terribly sorry if by for some reason there's somebody listening that is connected somehow to Eddie and you're being traumatized by this. I'm operating under the assumption that that's not the case, and therefore, where you are as a figure in a textbook to us, like Abraham Lincoln, whose assassination is no longer tragic, it's hilarious. He got shot in the head, brains flew everywhere. Kennedy slightly less so, and time goes on. Eddie from his picture looked like it probably happened a while ago. And it could be an urban legend. Like when you look at it, you go, "I bet that's." You kind of like it could be like unconfirmable. Anyways,
can't you ask the owners?
Who's gonna do that? I mean, I'm not gonna do that. Plus, the place is so big, like the owners aren't even there. I mean, there's it was like they had a lot of candy. I bought a lot of candy.
Yeah. Eddie loved candy. Why did he love candy?
Since we're there, like scraping the bottom of taste, like there was this fire in Oakland, this terrible tragedy, this warehouse thing, and did anybody see the video? I mean, some people out here might be connected to people I know. It's, Cody had a friend who lost 2 friends in that fire. There was a video of a guy who was describing, like, trying to drag his friend out who had broken his ankle, and he was trying to drag his friend out of this inferno, and he's explaining to the news cameras, you know, I was like, oh my God, this guy's so brave and vulnerable, like, how, you know, who would want, I mean, because he's describing the experience of trying to save his friend, and then it gets so hot and his lungs are filling with smoke, and he had no choice but to just let go and just walk away, or run away, or to get out of there. And he couldn't drag his friend out, had to leave him there. Jesus Christ! But the guy's describing it, and he describes it, and then he goes like, you know, obviously that's making him like tear up and like he's still out there on this. And then he says, and then I went out, and then I watched it all burn, all my stuff. All my, and he just started talking about all the things that he had in there. Anyways, I just thought it was such a weird build. It was like the story about the friend, and then he was just like, my pants are in there.
I know nothing about this. I've been in Mexico for almost a week. I haven't watched any news at all. So.
Yeah. How are you feeling? We might want to take up this regiment. Like, are you feeling
great? I feel great, man.
I feel like
Mexico City is the most goddamn fun city. If you haven't been there, really go down to Mexico City and chill out. The people are cool. They're laid back. The food is fucking screaming. They love music. The architecture is wild. There's dogs everywhere. There's dogs everywhere. And the thing is, I never once heard a dog bark. No, I heard one dog bark when we were in like.
Oh well, yeah, but you know they were barking in Spanish, so you probably didn't recognize it. Don't they? You know, in French class, like we always had to learn how all the animals like vow vow. Yeah, vow vow. Le mu. Yeah. Le mu. Yeah.
But the dogs, there's a park in Mexico, like this big park in the Condesa area. And there's 1 million dogs. Like, dog walkers have like 40 dogs on one leader. Like, it's amazing. And all the dogs are just chilled out, having a good time. They're not jumping and barking and biting and scratching. They're just the happiest, most well-socialized dogs in the world. It's really great. And then we went to this one place called Sochi Chocolate Milk. It's like chocolate milk. Xochimilco. Xochimilco. I don't know what the fuck. There's canals. It's fucking wild. And there's an island of the dolls. People just took baby dolls and nailed them to trees, and it's the fucking creepiest ass shit. So there's just a whole island of dolls nailed to things, and there's just feral chihuahuas running around everywhere. It's fucking rad.
Is it possible that Mexico has affected your reactions to things? Like you're describing things that should make you upset.
Yeah, but you're on a boat. You're on these big colorful barges in these canals, and then there's food. It's like rows up next to you, and there's just a guy selling tamales, and there's a woman selling fruit, and there's enchiladas, and then there's a bunch of bands. There's like 1,000 bands out there. So we hired a mariachi band that came on board our boat, and we're all just singing along, and it was the fucking greatest day of my life.
All right. Well, what's your favorite TV show right now? What are you watching the most?
Probably Westworld.
All right. Well, the finale's tonight, but
I'm back. I don't think I've seen 2 episodes back, so no spoilers.
Yeah, well, okay, no spoilers.
Don't say your groans are spoilers.
Everybody promise. Well, let's not talk about Westworld at all tonight. Please welcome our first guest, Ptolemy Slocum from Westworld.
Sylvester, the tech guy from Westworld. He's the nerd that you tried to kill, but you can't kill a nerd like Sylvester.
That's so easy. Hi, everybody.
Probably second to the British writer character, the least liked character
so far.
Like,
so
I
I've
mean-
noticed. I do feel like I am slightly more palpable than he. I shouldn't start with that. Yeah, at least to my wife. My wife likes me slightly better than him.
How did you? I think everybody's. I mean, this is like probably this is the show that everybody's watching, at least in LA. Like, and so you're. This is brand new. Like we had Grey Worm from Game of Thrones on it. I was on a yacht with Game of Thrones people, and all I can think to ask them is, what does it feel like to be part of this thing? But the answer is never satisfying. But why don't you take a shot?
All right. Well, it's a great lead-in. Yeah, it is interesting. About 6 weeks ago, I was standing back where those guys are. I see you by the bathroom because I had to walk past you. And so this is like, 6 weeks later, my life is about 30 yards different, but it's a big 30 yards, and it feels.
You mean you were standing back there? You mean you were just some regular Joe watching the show?
Yeah.
And now you're up here with in the limelight,
right?
Yes. But also you're on Westworld, which is more important.
Yeah.
Like you're measuring what it's like to go from not being on Westworld to being on Westworld by you're using the yardstick you're using is my shitty show.
I feel like that's what I thought that was your setup. For how is life different for you in terms of like being on the show? But if you want to talk about the experience of shooting that show, it was fascinating.
Well, I want to talk.
And that was like 2 years of fascinating because it took 2 years to shoot one season.
Right, there's a question right there. So we have to go back all the way 2 years ago to what I think what a lot of us would like to hear is like you going from being a guy who has not been cast on Westworld to like what's the, because there's got to be some little breathtaking banana peel stoplight if this had happened differently story about you getting the role, right?
I mean, yeah, you're looking at that moment, the fact that I'm even here at all, because we just as actors attempt to do that constantly. So this was very normal audition, one audition, no callback, walked into the room. I don't think they had even done an audition for this guy, Sylvester. No one understood the script. It was weird comments about like MSRA and like this abdomen. Like, what the fuck are they talking about? They didn't even know how to run the audition. I was in there. I was like, I think when I was reading it, it was like maybe this guy's like has his hands inside someone. And so I don't even think they had ever done one of those. Never did a callback. Didn't know that much about the show. And I was just trying to get a job.
Right. And what was your relationship with the property? Were you a fan of the movie?
I knew the movie. I still haven't seen the second. I really want to see the sequel.
Future World?
Yeah. Any thoughts?
Future World is even more 70s than Westworld.
Yeah.
Like, the 70s had third act problems.
Yes.
Until Jaws, at which point all movies stopped having third act problems, but began to have the unified third act problem of all ripping off Jaws for, it's like we all learned how to end a movie.
Right. But then it was like a shackle. Like that was, because it was successful, it's almost everything has to repeat that.
Yeah, now there's
and
such
it's
a thing
almost as bad as
like
when that law wasn't
every
there.
movie after Jaws, every movie ends with a blown up shark.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially. I mean, or a
But
saved
it did
cat.
build the shark industry in Hollywood, and those people have jobs.
It was because before that, the 70s was like you were watching a movie and it was like, oh, Gene Hackman might just run off screen and there's a gunshot and a cat meows and you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, they didn't have any rules like that. And Westworld's a great example. I love the setup of Westworld. It starts at that airport, if you remember, and it's a really cool setup, very elegant, very efficient. And then starting in like basically the third act, they didn't attempt anything.
Right.
They didn't have any plan.
Right.
It was just this guy starts running,
Right.
he never stops,
Right.
and it's just one long chase scene. It's like, what happened?
Yeah.
But it's that they could do that, and I actually kind of prefer it.
I mean, I guess because it's like what? Yeah, how should? Because the thing that you have to gain from an era where nobody really knows how to end a movie is that every once in a while, I mean, you're sitting there, you're on the edge of your seat like because you don't know, you're in the hands of a lunatic. Like,
Right.
you're, like I don't know. Like he could just like Easy Rider just ends with fucking It's just like get your motor running, hey, and then it just like credits.
Yeah, even that the cemetery scene in Easy Rider. Like, should I have gone on this ride with them?
Are you? Yeah, did you break the movie?
Yeah,
Dennis Hopper. Like,
but the potential that is waiting for you at the end of this film is pretty exciting.
Yeah,
and that's
because
kind of
that
gone.
makes you care about the characters. Because if you were in real life, were running from Yul Brynner, who was programmed to kill you, or rather programmed to not kill you, and had decided to not be programmed that way anymore.
Right.
Like if you were having that experience, you should feel unlike the way you feel when you're watching Jaws. You should feel like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
How do I get out of this?
Yeah.
Can I just play dead? The other thing about the 70s movies is like, I watched the Westworld movie in preparation for the series, and then I also watched Logan's Run, and it's like it's amazing how flimsy the evil is, like how easy it is to take down. In Logan's Run, he comes back from the lack of sanctuary. The computer that runs all of dystopian life asks him, where's sanctuary? He says there isn't one. It says, bullshit, I'm going to read your mind. And his mind says there's no sanctuary. And the computer explodes. And with it, and the shopping mall they live in starts falling apart, and all of the people in pantyhose have to run out, and they see an old man and touch his beard, and it's over. But because it's like it was that easy back then to foil an oligarchic technocratic Hydra.
Yeah. So going back to this show,
no,
because I did realize I might have.
So you did this audition, which it sounds like it was in a casting director's office.
Yeah.
And you booked it off of one read? That was it?
One read, no callback, no idea about anything.
Hired, fucking done.
Just hired.
That's the best.
Clearly, and I'm used to this, not gonna go anywhere or be anything. That was just my mentality, and it was basically like 4 lines in a pilot, and I did know that people were in it, but I just didn't know what to expect.
So cool though. How much of your day when you're on the set for you is spent looking at naked actors in a chair?
Yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
because they are all, not just the chairs. Everyone laying down, unless they have their legs cut off, is a real person.
Really? Right.
So they're all like fully naked with scars. It is a real fascinating emotional cocktail to see an attractive naked person that is gashed open, because you're like, want to help them and also aroused by it. It's like it's difficult.
This segment brought to you by Eddie World. Eddie World, where the customer probably has a child still.
The other thing is that I didn't have my glasses on, and it's real offensive to me how hard it is to tell a male from a female laying down like 10 feet away if your glasses are not on. I was offended by, once they like sat up, I was like, no!
I think we're offended by your adherence to a binary heteronormative.
Okay.
Dichotomous.
You want to cash in on that one? All right.
God damn it, the shit. Oh, okay. Come on, tell the truth. Some of that shit's from Game of Thrones sets. Like I
don't know.
There was like sets in there where I'm like, come on, or Cody was really the one that pointed it out. She's like, come on, that's a Game of Thrones set. Like they're taking like curtains and stuff, and then the heads on the wall, it
does look like that. No,
but
it's
HBO
all...
wouldn't have those laying around.
No, that's all in England.
Works.
I think those sets are. No, this is all up in about 30 minutes north of here, kind of parallel to where Six Flags is. But they do have old like tanks laying around from other productions, and some like original Mad Maxy kind of little cars that were like welded on one of those like motorcycles, like old stuff. So there is stuff laying around, but all that, I don't think they duplicated anything.
So do you have viewing parties?
No.
Are you married? Are you in a relationship?
I'm married. Yeah.
To what gender person?
To a wife. Yeah. I'm married to a wife.
A lady wife or a man wife?
It is. From 10 feet away. You don't. No.
Yeah. Do you know?
I know who she is.
I saw your wife laying on a metal slab, and I really couldn't tell if she was a dude or not.
Is she
Is she?
I'm not gonna react to that. I'm just gonna. It didn't pass me by. Like I'm still talking about it.
It's not the world's best kept secret that your wife likes to lay naked on slabs.
That you followed it up with a second one. I tried not to react to the first one.
She's known as slab lady.
So none of those are like
son of a bitch.
There are people. Like sometimes I see. I think that's a real doll or something like in the background. They never use like fake like.
They
people.
did if their like bodies were cut up, but they were like real.
Or if
people.
they're just like sitting in a chair.
No, those are real people.
Really?
For
How
the
are they
most
holding
part.
that still?
Well, two things. One of them was a dude I grew up with in Lodi, California. This small town. We grew up like 3 houses down from each other, and our families were like sister families. You know how like once a week you have dinner with them?
Uh-huh.
This dude named Craig
comes in at night.
Right?
And touches everyone's muscles with a special acid.
Yes. They put the shots under a pillow. He was working on the show. Which is crazy because we grew up like next to each other.
He was one of the naked like.
No, he does post, but what he does is he'll take a frame and if it is like still, but you know there is somebody that's going through and like stilling images because people can't be that still.
Oh, so easily just like split screen, like doing.
It's
little
not
junk
split screen. It'll be like a frame. So if there is like there.
That's how often how we would get it to look like Chevy Chase knew all his lines.
Yeah.
We would do liquid morph for like you see those 2 shots of him next to Donald Glover. It's like see if there's a clock in the background of Chevy's lines because that fucking thing's gonna go freak now.
So some extra in the background is hot dog keeps changing sizes. The candles are all different.
We wish him the best. He's in recovery right now.
Can we go back? Ptolemy? Ptolemy Slocum, first of all, is a fantastic name.
Yeah, I said, is it Ptolemy? And you said that's the correct pronunciation, but it's not the American pronunciation.
Yeah, more English would be Ptolemy. Greek would be Ptolemy. They actually pronounce the P. Ptolemy.
They put the pit in there.
Yeah.
You said you were born in Kenya.
I was born in Kenya, so I was born on the eclipse of the moon. Which is the story I was told, but then I went to an astrologer and I was born like 2 days after the eclipse of the moon.
Now, who notices when the moon is eclipsed?
Well, my parents.
What eclipse is it? The sun?
No, the Earth eclipses anything, right?
I don't know. I don't know.
No, the moon can eclipse the sun, and the Earth can eclipse both.
Like the reason why you don't see the moon all the time is because of the shadow of the Earth. What kind of show is
blowing
this?
my mind.
It was a full eclipse of the moon, which aren't that rare. And then Ptolemy was a Greek astronomer. Claudius Ptolemaeus was a Greek astronomer, lived in Egypt. Alexander, when the Greek Empire owned Egypt.
Right.
And he proved
that was the family that Cleopatra descended from.
No, the different guy, similar era.
Okay.
Were your parents? Why so
stoned?
Weird? Why were they in Kenya, and why did they naming you that, and what's with them?
By
the way, I'm a bad interviewer.
Well, you haven't attacked my wife. And I've gotten over it. I'm not thinking about it anymore.
I don't think I attacked you so much.
You called her a slab woman.
A slab?
Pretty sure you called her a slab woman.
I said people call her slab lady. I never said that at all. I simply am a journalist, sir.
Well, and for my part, I've gotten over it. It's an interesting story, and I don't know how far to go into it, but it's dark.
Really?
Yeah.
Your parents having you is the story dark?
That story is much darker than I knew, and I found out about it recently.
Really?
Yeah. So how much time do you want to commit to this thing?
Well, we've got other people to meet.
Okay.
But let's I'll
try to do the fast version. The story that I was told was that he worked for an American. I should not be telling this story. This is not going well already. So the story I was told as a child and growing up was that he was building a fertilizer plant for the Kenyan government. There was an American company building a fertilizer plant for the Kenyan government. It didn't go well, and so we got extradited out of the country. And they're like, the Kenyan government is horrible, and they threatened our lives a couple times. And eventually, we escaped and got out. Went to Cincinnati, at which point my parents relationship fell apart, and because it was so stressful to get out of Kenya. Then in
it's one of those couples that's going to blame the Kenyan government
Yes.
hating them on not working it out.
So I have to tell this difficult story, but also you're going to attack me along the way. Okay, all right, okay. I didn't know.
If we do attack anything, we'll just put a wound in its head and strip it naked so that you can derive sexual pleasure from it.
That is literally my nightmare. Is I hope I end up like naked on this show because I've earned it.
That was my Westworld theory, by the way, was that the show is taking place in the year. Sorry to cut you off.
No.
The show's taking place in the year 7000, and all of the there are no humans left, and all of the robots go to Westworld as like a kind of mecca where they can experience a Buddhistic reincarnation process where you can become like you rise up through the Rosencrantzes and the Guildensterns to the Maves to the Anthony Hopkinses to the and then cycle back through. That it's just sort of like because they've lost all contact with their human roots and they go there to just sort of like revive themselves spiritually. It's like their Wailing Wall or their.
Yeah.
Anyways, but
so basically, on that theory, like someone like Maeve is actually attending the park.
That you would eventually see that Maeve was also like that she'd be in that photo with Anthony Hopkins, like when they're starting Westworld or something. That she'd be in the background with a lab coat on or something, and that you'd be like a bartender, and that you'd go, oh, that's pointless.
What is the deal with the English guy, with the British overacting like screamy guy?
I didn't
find
meet
out.
him.
Wait,
What do you mean?
Is he in a different show? Does he know that he's not, that he's also in the same show as everybody else?
Pretty sure. I mean, I didn't know he was even on. Like, I only read my scenes.
Right.
I know nothing about.
They probably shot you out in an hour. Like all of your scenes are in one room in UTA's basement. Like,
yeah.
Like it's like it's just.
No, it took the full 2 years. Yep. So technically,
I didn't mean to impugn your craft.
No, logistically, I give you credit. Logistically,
same
it could have happened that
wardrobe,
way.
you know.
Yeah. I'm thinking about all the time that I wasted because had you been shooting the show, it would have been much more efficient.
Now, did you
I'm
ever
known for my efficiency.
Did you ever have to interact? Because I think the most fascinating part of that show is when they're just walking that bison around in that glass room.
It's the funniest thing that keeps
They're
coming.
walking, just showing the bison how to walk around.
They've mastered post-singularity nanotechnological like life creation, but yeah, you gotta. It's well known. You gotta prime that bison. Like you gotta. if it doesn't, but I thought the coolest thing though, is like that when Maeve was like walking through. No spoilers here if you're listening. Like I don't think, but like walking through, and then there's like in those rooms, the poker game guys, and then they all draw guns, and then the technician goes like, "All right, back to one" or whatever, and they all pick up their cards. And so I thought that shit was it's a cool show. We like it.
I do wish there was a slower version. That show.
Here's my thing.
I would watch 10 episodes where there is no plot and just show us some dude getting off a train and getting on a horse and riding in one direction and just see what happens.
It's called Love Boat meets Downton Abbey meets Deadwood. It's just like there's guest stars and you see it's like you don't have to do the serialized oh shit this whole park's going crazy.
It is Love Boat. That's right. It's
or
it's Fantasy Island.
They could just do that. Just
I think before the show came out, they thought that's what it was going to be. Like people were like, oh, so each episode someone new comes.
Oh, and Tattoo! Here comes Bill Gates. He's a philanthropist. His fantasy is to be a gunslinger. Boss, isn't that everybody? Yes, Tattoo, but Bill Gates wants to sling guns in a way that breaks his heart.
I think you're tampering with magic that you don't understand, Buzz.
That's okay. Apparently, I'm God. We all learn in season 3. There was this show called Fantasy Island that we've talked about with Paul F. Tompkins.
Detrain!
Good night, everybody. To train, yeah. No, but I really, that was my fantasy Westworld. I'm not knocking this one. The serialized story is fascinating, but the idea that there would be an upstairs, downstairs, like Downton Abbey, but that the servants were the gods lived in the underworld, and they were these polyamorous, asexual, they were so fucked up, like what you're saying, like they're looking at that you come to Westworld to fuck and murder in a simulation, and these people like designed the things and send them back up, and like how fucked up would they be as people, like had their culture and stuff, and
it turned out a lot like that British guy on the show.
Could there be a character that just comes in, like just wants to open up a little mercantile store? Like I want to become a blacksmith. I really want to get into blacksmithing.
I definitely don't feel like I would do a lot of...
Here's one thought that I've had that I haven't shared. I probably shouldn't, but I do think there are a couple people probably that would go to the park, pay to go to the park, and then try to convince people that were visiting that they are robots.
Right? No, of course.
And have sex with people like as almost like a servant, just to want to feel what that's like to like go through it, because people are that fucked up.
Of course they are. Go to any Ren fair.
Yes, exactly.
Like the people that aren't getting paid, that walking around going, "Hello, governor," and you're like, your dream is to like this guy's making $5 an hour and he hates doing it. You want to do it for free. Yeah, it'd
be like a non-crying.
What
game.
happens if the guns that the guests have, are they real bullets? Right, they're blowing away the robots. What's keeping them?
I have no idea.
From accidentally blowing away somebody that's another guest, and they just didn't realize.
Well, my assumption is that it is some kind of charge of some kind, and it either I don't know.
Some people get hit and then they fall and they go owie, But it has something to do with like the further out you go, you're like volunteering for the potential for physical abuse, but there's still cardinal rules, like it can't leave a mark. Like maybe that's what I'm hearing alluded to.
That doesn't seem from the show. I'm just watching as a fan, but people get punched. Like what happens there?
But I feel like it's like Ed Harris's character is out there. But by the way, I know there's this huge there's these reveals and shit that I'm not talking about. But like so I'm steering clear of spoilers, but saying like it seems like the Ed Harris character was like going further and further out, where it was like they can punch you in the face, and they can knock you unconscious. You can tell the writers when you go back to work. Like I could use a little more clarity on that. No, I'm kidding. They have their thing going. So okay. So well, let's. Do you
want me to? He's gone.
I believe I can fly.
He's gone.
I believe I can touch
Eddie.
Do you want me to tell you the very quick version of the other side of that Kenyan story?
Yes, the Kenyan government side.
Yeah, before I was born, my father worked for the CIA.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Turns out my father was the Bernie Madoff of Kenya. Oh, no. And I didn't find that out until 2012 when information came out that plant that he was supposedly had built, the Kenyan government was making payments on it for 30 years to a Brussels company, a shell company. So the entire thing was a scam.
Oh my God.
They scammed the entire country.
The only thing that would make this story good would be if it was in Nigeria.
What?
That your dad's job was to scam Nigerians. Never mind. All right.
Oh, now I understand it. Yeah.
But so his job. So that was a CIA operation.
I don't know. We don't know.
So when they threatened your lives, they had reason to, because they
exactly. And there are and some of this came out with WikiLeaks has. Why am I talking about this?
Are we all going to learn about your dad from WikiLeaks?
Is there going to be a drone strike on Harmontown?
No. But they have the embassy recordings. They have the transcripts of like when he had to go to the embassy to try to hide. So they had like Ken Slocum. Why am I saying the name? But they have those transcripts of like when he was like what the actual American interaction with this guy who was.
So he gave you your name is like it's like a spy operation like Ptolemy.
There might be the key to the entire my name. I might have it in me.
Yeah, I think your name is like a password in some vault.
Right.
First, I have to do sexy laser hopscotch, and then when I get to the thing, I'm like, "There's a password." Ptolemy.
Yeah. I put my like hand on it, or they realize like it's inside me, some kind of Horcrux, and they have to kill me to get it out.
Oh my God! Like your scalp has a maze on it.
It's a show, right? You understand? It's like a fiction. It's a fiction.
Yeah, no, I don't think your scalp has a show has a maze on it.
No, it's getting a little bit like one of those 70s movies where you don't know how it's going to end. And I'm slightly concerned.
By the way, if that scalp maze doesn't turn out to come to some use, some navigational purpose, I want some of my HBO money back. Like if he doesn't pull that scalp back out and go like, well, we should be about in the middle. We're right by the eyebrow, the back side of the eyebrow. All right. Well, let's. Speaking of gore and things human and visceral, your character has to deal in robotic blood and guts, and I. In my genius of booking guests, like I thought to fit like a tumbling key. It's not random.
You just asked me to do the show like 10 minutes before.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, okay.
But then I saw this connection, and I'm excited about it. I met this couple. Let's bring out Alan and Katrina. I won't use their last names. Our loss is your gain. All right, Alan and Katrina, you guys are EMTs, both of you.
Correct.
You're a married EMT couple.
Actually, we're just friends. We're not married. We're roommates.
What?
Yes.
Wait, shut up. Wait.
Eddie World! Let's hear for Alan and Katrina, everybody.
Wait. I thought. When did I? How many times have you heard me talk to you as if you were husband and wife?
Actually, the only time was when we talked in the green room. Before that, it was just Steve, as far as I know. But I was like, okay, well, we'll correct him when we get a chance. And
okay, so whose kids did I meet?
You met my kids.
Okay, your kids. You're just friends with Katrina. You're not married. Those were not her kids.
No.
All right, fantastic. All right. Well, I mean, God, you guys are so boring now.
Oh, wow.
I thought you were married. No, the marriage had nothing to do with it. I'm just fascinated I could get that wrong somehow. Okay, so anyways, but I met you guys and your kids. You guys we met at Stan Lee's Kamikaze Expo in line to meet Stan Lee, which I was told was happening because Stan Lee wanted to meet me. And you had been told was happening because you were a contest winner and got to meet Stan Lee, and both of us experienced the same thing, which is a very confusing, kind of like awkward. Like if you had told me this is how it was going to work, I could have opted out. Like kind of meeting with a very beleaguered, not beleaguered. He wasn't cranky. He's just he's Stan Lee. He's got bigger fish to fry. He's just kind of like what? Oh, hello.
He's still got a pep in his step. I mean, he's really. As far as what I see him, he's walking around like he's 20 years old.
Yeah, I don't know how old he is.
93.
Jesus.
Yes. He's 93 years old, and he walks around. I mean, we pick up patients every day that they're 30 years old, and I can't walk to the gurney. Well, what happened? I stubbed my toe. Really? And this is what you're going to go with when we get to the hospital? You stubbed your toe? You don't need to go to the hospital. Yes, I do. Stanley's walking around at 93 like he's, the Godfather, and you can't get to the gurney because you stubbed your toe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's doing great, but honestly, yeah, if you guys haven't met him and want to meet him, yeah, soon.
But maybe he's never stubbed his toe. Maybe Stan Lee is only true. 93 because somehow, and then he's going to stub his toe and just shatter like glass.
No.
just like,
knock on wood.
But anyways, we met him, which was essentially it was like Stan Lee wants to meet you. Well, no, he doesn't. We were brought to the front of an autograph line that like at a standard convention thing, and then it was like let me introduce you to this is Dan Harmon. He has a show called Rick and Morty. Oh, is that on the radio? Like he said something like that.
I didn't know if he was doing a bit or not, or if that was like, I don't know if that was like a Stan Lee standard bit, or if he really was like, hey, maybe it's on the radio. But anyways,
radio, so radio TV shows are what he knows.
Yeah,
that's what he grew up on.
Like you guys. So then you were standing there, and I was like, I was wondering, who the hell are these guys? Like, I didn't know. I thought maybe you were like, you could have been somebody from a CW show or something. I didn't know, because I was there to do a panel and then meet Stanley, and then you guys were there. You were cosplaying. You were your Green Lantern.
I was the Flash that day. We did a group as the Blue Lanterns, and my character was the Flash that had been recruited by the Blue Lanterns. So
those lanterns.
Yeah.
It was a symbol of hope. You love the lantern mythology. You like that?
Actually, do enjoy a lot of the lantern mythology. I think it shows the perspective of a lot of people's personalities and how we're all different and how things balance out and keep each other in check. So, yeah.
Because if you're a Green Lantern, you're basing it on willpower.
Right? What's blue again?
Hope.
Okay.
So hope versus willpower.
See, you could have willpower and bring that to bear with hope. Couldn't you hope with will, with a strong will?
Yes,
or be angry with a strong will.
But you could have a strong will and still be like, oh, I can't do this. This sucks. I don't want to get out of bed. I work at Walmart. Was that anywhere? Anywhere? Anymart?
Sure.
Anywhere. Yes, anywhere. There we go. Okay. Well, I don't know. Here's the thing. I'm a verbal thinker. I don't like the superpower where like I can make a green thing in front of me, like, and then it's like, oh no, there's a yellow thing. That's my worst enemy. Like, I was like, what is the green thing? The green thing is it's like a machine gun. I made a green machine gun. I like, oh great, that's clever that you thought of a machine gun that. Anyways, I don't want to shit on your
no
life.
problem. It's fine with
Katrina,
me.
Katrina, what were you dressed as?
I was debuting Jack Skellington Assassin. So Assassin's Creed, Jack Skellington version.
Nice. Wow.
And you guys are married, which I thought was so cool.
Congratulations, by the way. I like when you said that you were debuting it. So that was the inaugural go at this particular cosplay.
It was. I had just finished it the night before, but yeah, it was where I debuted that new cosplay.
Yeah, did it get some love? Did you get some good attention for that?
It actually did. It was a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all right, Ptolemy?
I'm good.
He's asleep now.
I am kind of a fan of the lantern situation, but I'm trying to keep my mouth shut.
Uh-oh.
Well, all right. I mean, sell me on Green Lantern. Look, Eric.
It's imagination.
Eric Esquivel's here. He sold me on Superman. Like, I fucking love Superman now, you know? Tell me about
so here's the thing about Superman. In my opinion, like, all of these things came from an aspect of human nature that was then expanded upon as a what if. It's as, like, the natural incarnation of that thing. And one of the things that we have as humans is imagination. Like, what if I could just imagine something to will it into place? The colors thing, that is a currency that it's using. There's just like differences, and there's a lot of card games that are based on that colors or what have you. But the essence of what wouldn't it be cool is if I could lift something. What if I could lift a million things? You know what I mean? Like, it's just an extension of a human trait, and this trait is imagination itself, and that is a really cool thing to follow. Like, it's so fun to like celebrate that as a power. And a physical incarnation of that power.
But is it the idea that the ring gives you more imagination, or is it the ring can focus your imagination so you need to be imaginative to use it right? Because he can just shoot people with green blasts of energy and kill them.
And it works.
That is also part of his imagination. Whatever it's coming out of him.
Also, he could just cover himself with a green shield that protects him against damage, so he could just do that the whole time.
Yes,
he kind of does.
Things, and
yeah.
And DC suffers from this across the board, which I think is beautiful, is that it's all overpowered.
Yeah.
All of these things are overpowered, and that's why it's difficult for them to like figure out how to make these things human. But it is an amazing, it's just an amazing currency to play with, the idea of imagination. And I like what they went with it because he had so much power, the power of imagination, that he eventually just went crazy. Which I think is so interesting.
Well, yeah, they're getting into. I'm sure if I read every Green Lantern, obviously, it goes all the way.
Just don't watch the movie.
I only know him from the surface. It's just like the guy with the green with the ring and the thing.
Yeah, sorry.
But just make a green Superman. But Spencer's point is about that I never.
And just to be clear, I don't hate Green Lantern. You brought this on, and then we talked about it, and then we I think it's.
I said, what do you think of Green Lantern? But then you said something that I thought was interesting because I don't think this stuff through enough. But you said what you just said. DC characters. It's all like gods, basically.
Yeah.
Unless you count Batman, but there's Marvel characters. DC characters are defined by one weakness. They all have like a kryptonite, and then Marvel characters are, they're all kind of, in one sense or another, regular Joes who have one power, but that kind of fucks up their life, and you have to
But if you look at it as like a
You're
70s
a superhero.
movie
You
thing,
cannot date.
Sorry. No, it's okay. I'm going to stop talking because I'm just going to keep talking. Is that
no,
come on.
You're Ptolemy. I mean, we can't
look at it like in the 70s version, right? So there's 70s films and there's films that come after it that are just like archetypes. But these things came at a time in our world that is in the past, long time ago. So the idea of extending a human trait to its maximum was brand new and had never happened before. So they weren't perceiving how this would need to be modified in the future. From a single individual that is a living person to the godlike power that they were given really expanded people's imagination and expanded like their experience of the world around them. There was purpose to these things. So it was this big thing, and they still gave them that weakness, which I think is fascinating. It's an interesting archetype, and I don't think it holds up as well or as easily as today. So I'm not arguing one against the other, but these are fascinating. I think they're fascinating like tools for storytelling. And I think people don't quite understand like the lineage of where it came from, even in the same way that people don't like 70s movies now because they're not great. Mm-hmm. But they were really fascinating at the time when there were no rules.
Right, but are we supposed to look at them through that lens? I guess when I watch a Woody Allen movie, I'm like, part of my appreciation is, no, he wasn't famous for being Woody Allen yet. This is amazing that he put himself in a movie, even though he's not sexy, and he's decided to cast himself as the romantic lead. Like that's hilarious. I am looking at it through a cultural retro lens.
And his level of honesty was way too far.
Because if I look at it through a modern lens, then I'm like, I don't like Woody Allen movies anymore.
I'm fascinated by the idea that I fortunately have never had to be in an ambulance with EMTs, but I like the idea that the EMTs that come and get you might also have been cosplaying the night before.
Yes.
Let's get into your vocation, because that's what's fascinating. So I just learned in the green room, for instance, EMTs totally different from paramedics. Not totally different, but different. I always thought it was synonymous. EMTs are alarmingly close to person that got out of high school and wants to work with blood and guts for a living.
Yeah, that's basically...
Not to knock your vocation, but actually to praise you, because it's a very low-paying job. Go ahead, you take it from here.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for saying I'm out of high school. I'm actually 30 now, so I must look good. Beyond that, yeah, it's true. EMTs are basically it's considered a certificate that you would get in a college setting, but ultimately our schooling and stuff is about 6 to 9 months, and there's even accelerator programs which you can do it in like 2. I don't recommend that to anybody. Imagine trying to understand all this information in 2 months, and really that's not even.
I don't recommend that to the injured. But yeah, we're sending the guy out.
Right,
He's got his GED, and he took a weekend intensive.
That's exactly what why I didn't do that, because in my opinion, if your life is in my hands, the last thing you want to know is I've been practicing this for the past 4 weeks.
Yeah, no,
don't worry, you're gonna be okay. How do I do this again? Shh, it's okay. I've been doing this for every weekend for the past month. You're good.
And you said an EMT's job is to stabilize. You arrive at the scene. It's like tourniquets, splints. I don't know, whatever.
Splinting, bleeding control, so tourniquets. Breathing for people. We actually are able to
ventilating,
do that.
yes.
Ventilating.
Like tracheotomies. You ever have to punch a hole in?
No trachs.
Oh, okay.
We have the little mask that you put over people's faces, and we squeeze the bags. Are able to breathe for them until the paramedics come and can stick tubes down their throat and intubate them.
Yeah, and the difference basically between like EMT and paramedics. So EMT, basically, we are their assistants, if you want to put it that way. We assist them.
We're the nurses to their doctor.
Right. And the paramedics spend a lot more time in school to get their medical license. And basically, as I said, our job is to stabilize the patient to get them to the hospital in under 10 minutes, hopefully. And in that time, once we get there, the nurses and the doctors in the ER take over, and they go ahead and make sure that you're able to revitalize the person.
So if a 911 call goes out, an EMT is a responder on that?
Yeah, so the EMT likely is the person driving. The paramedic's going to be in the passenger seat because he's got to be first to get out.
Or she.
Or she, I apologize. Yes.
I believe I gender equality, this guy.
Yes. Dan's Marvel superpower is that he learned that he can high road you without doing anything really that heroic at all.
But imagine harnessing the power to high road. I thought you guys were married because I'm not racist.
Oh, God.
But he has a weakness.
Yes.
I see race. I can't stop seeing it. It's everywhere.
You said you were from Kenya, right?
No,
I'm basically like the last guy that deserves to say I'm Kenyan.
So, well, let's get started. Because you guys told me something. And I wanna honor your candor, and I think people will understand this, but it's like, I mean, you guys work in human plumbing for a living. Like, you show up and people are ripped apart, people have things knocked off of them, people are in various states of biological chaos, and your job is to stabilize it. What's that?
Different parts of decay.
Yeah. And so you shared with me in the green room, you guys, like, among yourselves, just as I think, writers in writers' rooms go to some pretty dark places that don't necessarily have anything to do with the jokes that end up in the Big Bang Theory. It's like you guys go to fucking dark. You said you got a YouTube video that was like a private link to a YouTube video.
Basically, our Christmas parties are who has the goriest pictures and who has the goriest stories.
Right. Yeah, it's not so much that we're like sick, sadistic people. It's the fact that that's how we cope with it.
Right.
You have to basically make humor out of some of, I'm sorry to say, somebody's darkest day or their family's darkest day, because you got to be able to come home and be like, I'm okay.
Right.
I'm gonna be okay.
It gives you control over it. It's a very uncontrollable circumstance that you're constantly inserting yourself
I can see all
into.
this stuff all day, go home, and still be able to lay down and sleep at night.
Right. Exactly. And otherwise than that, I mean, loving Deadpool is my favorite character. Does help,
Right.
So.
Deadpool makes sense for an EMT. Yeah,
exactly. That's when people are really excited to see me. I was cosplaying Deadpool this morning. Now I'm here to help you.
So because you guys told me, I mean, you were just, I don't know, it's like I don't even know why I bring it up again. It was just like kind of fascinating watching your face, which when you were describing, like, you got this video and it was like this guy that got like ground up or split apart or something, and you're kind of like.
I got excited.
Like this sort of like, you might as well have been talking about
Arm
like
went
architecture.
This way, leg went this way, head was that way.
Yeah, that's basic. I mean, and that's how it is. It's a point of why we kind of do our jobs, because whether we're talking about, yes, this video where the guy was going like 170 miles per hour on his motorcycle, and then next part in the video, well, his torso's here, his head is over there, and his legs are split apart like, wishbones, except in the middle are his pants that are holding the 2 feet, so you can kind of nunchuck them, and it's funny to me because
that's what I'm talking about. Like, he's not a bad guy. You already know he's a good guy. But it's like, whoa.
What the people who are only listening to this can't see is how turned on Ptolemy is right now.
I had that one in the chamber, but I was like, this is going to be the easiest fucking callback.
But there's other days that there's good stories. So she actually had a really good story that happened not too long ago. Racetrack.
Oh yeah. So I'm part of a race team. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Chuckawalla Raceway. It's way out in Desert Center. It's a private racetrack. We do private race teams. Not even 3 weeks ago, I was out there. It's usually super boring. We lay there, or we sit there, waiting for something.
That was a union rule. We lay there, we sit there.
No sleeping.
The stretchers are only for the clients.
This is true.
Very true. Yeah. So we were just sitting there waiting. We wait for people to go down on their motorcycles or crash their cars into the different towers.
Which is exactly what the audience is waiting for.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, so we're sitting there waiting, and like most of the day, it was biker down, rider's down. Okay, rider popped back up, back on his bike, let's go. So we hear rider down, second rider down. Okay, wait, first rider's up. Oh shit, second rider's not moving. Sorry, can I say that?
Yeah.
So second rider's not moving. So.
Oh shit! Oh yeah,
said
you shit.
nunchucks out of a man's life.
True.
Yeah, no,
Very
you can say
true.
anything you want.
Okay, so we hear second rider's not down, or second rider's not getting up. So we flip on our lights and sirens, shoot across the racetrack, get to him, and he's laying face down. And we're like, oh crap, okay. Well, we actually have to work today. Yay! No, it's a lot of fun. But so we.
That was a heartwarming story. You were right. At first I thought, oh, these nunchucks, that's a tough story. But he went right to the heart warmer.
It's like, she's like, oh, I get to work today. No, I kid the injured. I kid him because I love him.
Yeah, so we're like, okay, so we rock up, he's face down or whatever. We do our normal roll him over, support his airway, support his head. We start taking off his clothes. We have special leather cutters, start taking his helmet off. And as we're taking a helmet off, we notice that he's doing a weird thing we call guppy breathing. So basically it's...
Okay.
Okay, that obviously means he's not breathing. Check pulses, no pulses. So it's just me and my partner, me and a medic. Just the two of us were like, crap. Okay, fire department's 15 minutes away. Helicopter's half an hour away. Okay, well, here we go. So we cut his leathers off, began CPR, chest compressions, breathing for him. The other rider that went down with them, unfortunately, had broke his arm. So he's walking up with like a flimsy wrist, like, guys, what do you need? I'm ski patrol, but I can try to help.
Everybody's afraid of the T-Rex.
His name was Ski Patrol? Are they like Transformers?
That's badass.
Ski Patrol.
Sidewinder.
Roll out.
Wheeljack.
So anyway, so we start to do these compressions on him, and we get to shock him, which, believe it or not, is a very rare thing. When someone's has no heartbeat, we hardly ever shock them. So we got to shock him. After the third shock, we feel down. He has pulses. Yes. We're like, yes, by ourselves, just two of us, no one. Probably the most rewarding thing I've had in a couple years. Get him to a helicopter. By the time we get him to a helicopter, he's fighting us. He's like...
Fighting us is a good thing. That means you're alive again and wanting to live.
Yeah, trying to...
Throwing punches at you? Like, get the fuck off me?
Yes.
Also, you ruined my pants. You cut my goddamn leathers off.
Exactly.
You cut my leathers!
You would be surprised. A lot of people get really upset about us cutting their clothes off trying to save their life.
Is that in a fugue state, or
No,
do you
that's
mean
just,
that they actually...
oh my God, you just cut my $100 pair of pants. Fuck you. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
I want that money back for that $100. I mean, obviously the leather he had on was multi-$100, and he was fighting us away. We get him in the helicopter. He's still fighting. I'm like, leave me alone, leave me alone. So that was extremely rewarding.
Yeah. So
to actually
leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Well,
the end.
It was rewarding to actually make a difference for once, instead of just taking the person that stubbed their toe or,
yeah,
believe it or not, woke up from a bad dream and is scared to be home alone.
Well, is that so? So that brings to mind the question, like, what? It seems to me that there's two things that would bring you to this job. One is this like altruistic thing that's like, oh my God, I love people, which is why a story like that is so much more fulfilling for you. Like, I got to do the thing that I want to do today, which is actually which is actually do the zappy paddles and bring somebody from dead to alive. And if I hadn't been there, they'd be dead. And now I feel good going to bed tonight.
If the two of us weren't there, then...
But that speaks to empathy. And the other thing that makes you good at this job is the other thing we've seen, which is that you're sociopaths. Like that you guys can actually somehow, like, you can deal with that stuff without going, this is a human being. I can't handle looking at their innards.
Right. Well, 90% of our job, honestly, is transporting patients from one hospital to another. That's 90% of our job. 10% is actually going code 3 and having to show up at going code 3 and showing up at an emergency. And of that 10%, probably only another 5% of that is actually serious injury to a point where this is why I love my job. This is why I do it. Because, yeah, we all initially do it because we care about people or we like the job we do, because, as we told you, we don't get paid almost anything.
Right.
I'm talking about a little bit above minimum wage. That's it.
Which I was kind of shocked by.
Yeah.
Good for you.
It's the same thing, you know, with
meaning that they're doing it as
Yeah, this is not a job you go and get rich quick scheme.
Does America need more EMTs?
We need more, specifically paramedics, because again, EMTs do help, but without the paramedic, because of the scope of practice,
right,
there are certain things we're not allowed to do, even if we know how. If we do it, we're losing our license.
Because there's kind of a paramedic shortage.
Yes.
There
is, yes.
And because there's money to be made, therefore, by these paramedic schools, which, correct me when I'm wrong, you pay $10,000 to if you're an EMT, you pay $10,000 like tuition to a school, do some schooling. There's barriers between you and being a paramedic that represent, money for schools that are now rushing people into paramedic.
Yes,
basically, you graduate EMT school. The next week, they say, "Hey, give us $10,000. We'll make you this paramedic."
Which is scary to think, because this paramedic will go through 2 years of school, roughly. And however, if he spent no time on a rig, this guy basically has spent, or she, this person now has to literally know how to help people without ever actually helping a person in their whole career.
They might not know that they're squeamish.
Exactly. No, it's happened. They go all the way through school. They go to their first real scene, and they're like, "I can't handle this."
But that's where the EMTs come in. You have EMTs like me who've been doing this for 8 years that take those new medics and are able to babysit them.
But you're the nurse to their doctor, and now you're now more qualified than them.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's just a point.
Trump's going to take care of this, right? He's a businessman.
What he'll do, he'll build a wall. He'll build a wall to put around the bodies.
If he could put a bigger wall between paramedic and EMT, like, maybe that would help. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is, I get it. Everybody has to make their money. We have to, you got to pay to be in a certain profession, no matter what profession it is. Like, originally I wanted to be an actor. There's still money I got to pay to go to school and do that. However, point is just, yes, it's those provisions put into place where you have to do usually 1,000 hours being an EMT before you can even become a paramedic, and that's really important for the safety of the population as well as the safety of us. And again, it's not a pity party to say that. Yeah, we would like some more money and this and that, but again, we do our jobs because we enjoy them. However, we have our bad days too. Even today, unfortunately, one of my divisions, which, guys, this is really important. I bring it up because it's sad to me, but we watched it the other day, and sure enough, today things went wrong. When we go code 3, guys, pull over. Please pull over.
To the left.
Code 3 means lights and sirens.
Code 3 means lights and sirens because today.
Wait, what does pull over to the left mean? That seems important.
Pull to the left side of the road. Do not pull to the right because we drive.
I think you're getting that backwards.
Sorry, correction. Sorry.
Yes.
Are you sure you're not married?
Park perpendicular to the road.
So guys, pull to the right. Pull to the right side of the road
Pull to the right because we drive on the left side of the road.
Right. Yeah, just like you see any cops or anything else, and please just double check your mirrors. Unfortunately, today a SUV went head on with one of my division's rigs. And we had to fly out our paramedic, and they were already on I said, Code 3 going to a scene, and unfortunately, they had to be flown out to a trauma center.
So that also means the scene they were going to, took longer for them to get there because they had to send a second ambulance along with an ambulance to the accident.
Yeah, that's and the system.
You okay?
I have a horrible joke.
Go ahead.
All right.
I just don't know if you guys show pictures of that paramedic at the party.
That's going to be up to the paramedic.
Or is that like too personal?
Understand, whenever we show pictures, we make sure, first and foremost, that because of HIPAA laws and stuff, we don't state names, we don't take pictures of the person's face and stuff like that. Right. So nothing identifying.
Usually it's the wreckage of the car and or
if it's a body part that's by itself, you really can't tell who that is. But
but
do you ever see somebody's just dick fly off?
You should see.
Yes. Actually, yes.
Just their dick.
Okay, let's be clear. I work in Palm Springs, so
dicks were flying.
The dick mutilation capital of the world.
Yeah, so dick injuries are very common for me.
I'm kind of curious about your own personal injuries. Do you guys ever like if you are the way you are and you're able to be comfortable with other people's injuries, does that make you a little bit like a super person? Like if you're working on a bandsaw and you lose your pinky, are you less dizzy?
Actually, knock on wood, I've never broken a bone in my body. And as far as injuries go, I look at myself and I say, hey, pain's going to come, things happen. But if you're telling me, if I bandsaw my hand, no, I'm screaming like a little girl. Oh, my God!
Or a little boy.
Non-stop. I'm screaming like a baby.
But what about your kids? You had 2 kids, right?
I have 3 total.
3 total.
So one of each.
Wait, I didn't even...
This is true.
Wait. I'm gonna actually need to go back over that afterwards. But has your kid ever just fallen on their face or and there's blood and everything and
Actually, the first time that I've ever had to do anything that was medically induced help was my first child. Me being the wonderful father I am, I was counting change on the bed, and he got a hold of a quarter when I walked out of the room, and swallowed the quarter partially. And I had to do back thrust and kind of the Heimlich maneuver while he's actively vomiting everywhere. And that's the only thing that kept me happy is if he's vomiting, there's airway.
Right.
So, but eventually the quarter popped out before we had to go to the hospital. So
Holy
I was
smokes.
very thankful for that. And that's the only thing I've done so far.
Starburns, my studio, we had, Dino and I had lunch with our CFO, our head accountant, pleasant Mormon fella who was we had hired to turn our business around for us, and we were talking to him about we should get health benefits for everybody, and it's so great that you're here. Thank you so much. And then he started choking on his skirt steak that he was eating, and Dino and I just kind of sat there. It was like an out of body experience, but with it where you don't I was looking at myself doing nothing. He was like.
Why are you choking at my dinner table? Stop that.
In the 70s, it seemed like there was a movement to teach people about the Heimlich. There was a big movement because it's this is it's Is there anything you could just verbally impart to me when I say? Because I know the general idea is, I know I shouldn't sit there, but like I mean I don't know like
did he die? You never finished that story.
He stood up out of the booth. Dino and I were still sitting. We were so slow in reacting that the bartender at Little Dom's made it all the way around the bar and said, "Are you okay?" as he finally barfed up a little piece of steak onto the floor. And Dino and I were still sitting. And I just looked back. I was like, that's the day I learned I'm a fucking horrible. Like I'm just like I gotta change something, but I won't, right? Like I don't want to be. I was just like I didn't do anything.
But that's like this is what the Marvel universe is, right? Like it's 100% weaknesses, but one gender power, and that's.
Yeah, I have the ability to proclaim myself feminist. That's it. If a woman is choking, I'll just be like, I don't know what to tell you. If they have a historic election dangled in front of them and then snatched away, I'll just be like, all right, take it easy.
I think I told the story before, but I almost died on a corn dog at Wiener Schnitzel in high school, and I was like, oh fuck it, this is how I die. I die on a fucking corn dog. Cause I was trying to get a bite of the corn dog, and I bit too much, and the guy did a joke of giving me more than I wanted, so I got the whole corn dog, and I bit it off, and now I got a corn dog in my throat, and and everyone just sat there, and I'm dying, and I can't breathe at all. Like you can't swallow it; it's not coming back up. There's no way to get a hand on it. And my friend Brandon Morgan, who we call Bam Bam because he was just really strong, he just fucking picked me up by the ankles and fucking shook it on out. It's like he got it done.
How tall was Bam Bam? I got you by the ankles.
No, I was little. I was like 5'4" when I was like a freshman in high school. And Bam Bam, everything. He was my best friend. Everything on my shitty Volkswagen Scirocco, my '81 Scirocco. It was I love that car. But it was a piece of garbage. And everything on the passenger side, because Bam Bam was always in there. Everything was broken. He would just close the door and the handle would come off in his hand. All the knobs, anything that he could touch on his side was off. So we had to get in and out of that side of the car like the General Lee. Like you had to fucking.
All right. Well, Alan and Katrina, thank you so much for sharing your lives with us. So you're living together, and there's a will they, won't they going on there, but it's not.
The living situation comes down to California prices. Yeah.
But it's just amazing. I was talking to you in the green room, and I became kind of ashamed of myself because I'm like, you guys watching Westworld, and like your answer was like had so much to do with like, well, once a year when HBO has a package for $10 less, like we said, it's like you guys are living hand to mouth, and then you're just showing up whenever everybody else who's like, I don't know, it's just kind of fucked up. Like we should pay teachers more, we should pay cops more, we should pay EMTs more, we should pay everybody more, but. I don't know. Maybe we could have some Harmontown scholarship to make sure you guys make it to the paramedic level, where I'm sure it's like $8 an hour. Or,
right.
We'll figure it out. I feel like I might have put more into the Big Bang Theory slot machine than you guys need to like get up to.
Yeah, there was a Kickstarter that happened because somebody stole your glass that Jane made. Like it was like we should do Kickstarters for just people that don't barf when they see your dick fly off.
Yes, we should.
That's kind of a rough pitch, but you got the idea.
So everybody pull over when you for ambulance.
Pull over to the left and the right. If it's, just do a series of figure eights.
Even if you just at least stop. Stop. Just let us move around you, go around you, something of that nature.
I'll start stopping when you start spelling words in the right direction. Right. Fucking spelling shit backwards.
They're anticipating your backwards viewing of it with a mirror. Right. All right. Well, so if you guys don't mind saying goodbye to let's thank Katrina and Alan. You can go back in the holding tank. I'm not very good at running the show.
Oh, that was great.
there's more people I wanted to meet.
I can't believe we missed 9/11 when we had EMTs out here.
That was sad.
That would have been.
I saw it, but
you saw it.
You son of a bitch.
Oh yeah, you just issued that much restraint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe explain 9/11.
That was a missed opportunity.
He'll be fine.
Speaking of 9/11, I was at the Las Vegas airport today, and the TSA like slowed to a crawl and like detained Cody and I, and like I was getting so cranky, and like I'm gonna miss the show, and I'm so pissed. Fucking TSA, fuck the TSA, these fucking assholes. Like look at them, like blah blah blah. But it turns out like we were slowed down because both Cody and I were carrying knives. From Death Valley that I bought at a store a knife that said Cody and a knife that said Dan, and we had them in our luggage, and they got both of us. And I was like, we had flown from Los Angeles to Las Vegas with those knives. So congratulations, Las Vegas TSA. You went from being my least favorite people to, because I don't want to be on a plane if you can get on there with a knife. I didn't know I had the knife. I had fucking knives. Anyways.
Wait, did you lose them? Did you have to surrender your knives?
Yeah, we had to throw them away, yeah. I mean, they're $10 knives, but... You can, but I mean, come on.
It's all terrible.
The knives were $10 at a gift store, and... I don't know. I just like we were late we weren't late, but I'm lazy. I don't want to fill out a form. Then you get like junk mail, I'm sure, from the TSA. They're like, hey, ask about our condo deals. What were you going to say?
Oh, well, no. So my dad got me a knife in Alaska, and I was flying from Alaska with the knife.
Uh-huh.
And then they wouldn't let me fly with it. It was this big, and it had a wolf on it. It was really cute.
But you can, if it's precious, you can have it mailed.
I spent my last $12 getting it mailed to myself.
Well, this I can solve.
Wait, you wouldn't?
I was in Vegas.
You're going to pay her for the knife, but you're not going to pay the EMTs that can't afford HBO?
I don't have $10,000 in my pocket. I have
you could have bought them an HBO subscription.
Oh, that's true. Well, this is for them. Okay, $100. I'll pretend I have spent on Big Bang Theory.
Who else is in hard times right now? Dan's handing out money. Anybody? We should really have an ATM here.
I spent my last $120.
Well, wait. Wait. There's other people I wanted to.
Now he's got guests to bring out.
Yeah. Wait, is the guy? Who's the guy that was tweeting the?
He's here. I saw him put up a sign towards the front of the stage.
All right, human party guy.
Yes.
Okay. Do you come on up?
Human party, stranger.
Oh, hello. You are, hello.
This is on purpose. This is strategic. Here you go. This is
thank you.
Okay, there's a gentleman in a kilt and a t-shirt handing out gifts.
It's a Las Vegas West.
Can you please tell them how attractive I am for the listeners?
Just hot as a goddamn pistol.
He's got all sorts of labels on his back.
Something great.
You're handing me a vape? This is weed?
Yeah.
This is some sort of
I was going to give it to Dan, but I want to give it to you.
What's your name, sir?
My name's John Roswell.
John Roswell?
No,
And what did you bring for me?
I actually was going to bring you my luckiest 20.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was going to give you that.
Give us a Spencer because he's
No, I'm fine.
No, I'm not a real vapey, weedy type.
You could use it better than me.
All right. No, I still want it. If you're not giving it to Spencer.
Watch the show. Wait till it cuts away from you, and nobody's going to know a thing.
All right.
Chris
are you about to sell us real estate, or what's happening here?
More or less.
Yes, he's got a kilt on.
Well, grab a mic.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yes.
Okay. Eat the mic.
Yeah.
So you might crush my dream tonight. So before anything happens, which camera's on?
Just
the red light. Look at the red light.
Baby, I love you. Love you so much. My beautiful wife Heather got me here, and my son D'Artagnan. This is for you.
Is it maybe? Were you in the agency with his dad?
No, you can go. This is gonna get weird. So
it's already weird.
Yeah. dismiss my guests.
No, Dan, I even have props, but we'll see if we get to that.
All right.
The poster that was brought up.
Right.
So, how do you want me to do this, Dan?
Well, I mean,
I feel like you're prepared, right?
What's that?
You seem very prepared
Yeah,
for
if you
what's
wanna
about
just
to
take
happen.
it,
Okay, well, let me. So
I can
this
give
is.
the backstory. Which
Do you want to sit or do you want to stalk the stage like a panther the whole time?
Oh my God! All right. Oh, I've never done anything like this before in my life. I would give you all. There's about a 50-50 chance I throw up on you people. Okay.
Sure.
I've never been on stage. Didn't do drama. I don't have a script I'm trying to sell.
fine.
I'm not a failed actor. I live in Washington. Getting here was insane. I flew just for this because you finally told me, give it a shot.
You see, Dan.
And hold on. Hold on. Oh, and I'm going to start a Kickstarter, and this shirt is going to be on there. It's very important to what I'm doing.
All right.
Because basically, my point is we're all
We still need the mic, though.
I'll get the mic back. I promise. Let's just tear the show.
All right.
Yeah,
This-
here we go.
For you.
Okay.
This show has become.
This is my character sheet.
It's become Charles Manson's Shark Tank.
Yes!
What I'm proposing is
I'll eat
Kool-Aid.
this one. Well, you know what? That's supposed That's a better mic. I like that. Let me see. I've been sitting back there nervously. I love this show, and I've never hated a show more than this one. How do I follow those guys?
Oh,
not
Jesus
by
Christ.
insulting the show traditionally, but
No,
way.
the show is beautiful. You're beautiful. I love you for how you show us all your soul, and we see how wonderful a person you are. I love him for his logic. I love you for keeping shit going.
Fuck yeah.
And everybody that knows me, everybody at home that knows me is now saying, fuck, he's doing the 7-to-1 rule. And sorry, guys,
What
I
is
can't
the
stop.
7-to-1 rule?
Oh, shit. It's not even on subject. Jesus Christ.
All right,
so
well, now let's
7-to-1 rule is
Jesus
basically is a management thing where you're supposed to give people 7 compliments to 1 negative.
Okay.
Oh, here comes the one.
I'm saving that for. All right, threw that in earlier.
We already
How I
got the
hated
one.
show.
Yeah, he let off with the one.
yeah.
He's making.
All right, so
There's more
Dan-
people up here. You could add me to the 7.
No,
you got like a whole 7.
I was hoping for a no guest night. I really was.
I bet.
Wow, I was not
heard the
uncomfortable
story.
until just now. 'Cause already I was like, thank God I'm still here. The paramedics leave, and I'm like, oh, Dan still wants me on stage. Like, no, the paramedics are the lucky ones.
Yep. Oh yeah. I'm sitting over there, and I'm just going, oh my God, 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 my dream is dying. Oh my God.
They're EMTs, by the way.
Do you want me to go?
No,
I will
love
go.
You. I love you. I love your show.
Okay.
But he's right. Nobody cares about you on the show, but I love your show. That's just a carryover from him.
That's okay. I still have my slab wife.
Yes.
You called her that, not me.
You called her slab lady.
No.
You called her slab lady.
I said that people.
He said he heard it.
People, that's like you learned that from Trump. There's like people call her slab lady. That's the same.
Why would they call her that? She didn't like laying on slabs all the time.
You're right.
Yeah.
I distracted. You're right. There should not have been a guest.
No.
You
You're watching my dream. My dream is doing this as you go.
No,
right
that's
now.
true.
My dream
You
is
spent
dying.
hours traveling here, it sounds.
Oh
And
my God. My
the
bus
way-
broke down on the way to the airport.
The number of times you probably went through this show on the journey,
Right?
like, over and over, and
Sitting
none
next to
of
people
them.
on the plane going like this.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, my
man. And then I'm
fucking
gonna
God.
say
Oh my
this, and
God.
people are going to say this, and not one of them had this guy in your dream.
Oh yeah, he announces you, and I love your show. And I'm like, fuck, God
that
damn
guy.
it. And he said, you said the story about 20 minutes ago, and I'm thinking, oh my God, great. And then he brings paramedics out, and I'm like, I can't compete with paramedics. EMTs, sorry.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it.
All right, you want to get into it?
Well, yes.
All right.
How did this come about, Dan? What qualified
Well, John started.
here?
It's John,
so-
correct, John?
So, in case anyone else is also interested in this kind of thing, you could just tweet at us.
No, don't say that. Don't say that. Say
This is what happened. So he tweeted at us, and now he's here.
Right. He tweeted, and I would say the adverb, hopefully it's not an offensive adverb, incessantly. You tweeted incessantly.
Oh, I need something heavy. You got a drink? You can't hold it.
Don't touch it. You'll never come
Oh
back.
yeah. Put it in front of him.
Don't
He's
poke
not
him with
necessary.
it. Careful with that.
He's like a dead body in the back of one of his scenes, right there.
Needlessly hostile.
That's okay.
I'm on the edge of my fucking seat right now. I have no idea. I have no idea what on earth is happening.
All right.
He's a crazy person. He's gonna kill all of us.
All right.
This is it.
Okay.
Gee.
Oh no! I fuck your dreams. I fuck your dreams.
This is just like
Here's my list of things I need from Dan at the end.
I like that's a mind map. I like that.
Yeah, that's that. Well, I had to go on purpose.
Sorry. All right. I'm sorry.
So safe. Okay, the first thing everybody has to remember: Human Party on Facebook. Human Party on Facebook. I'm starting a new political party.
Okay, so a political third party.
Yes, go ahead. Oh,
that's
just so
central
Spencer's
to
been
your.
telling me apart.
That's central to your platform. Is it needs to be a third party?
Yes.
Okay, continue. That's all.
All right. These are the things we're gonna go do. Oh my God! I've been sitting over there and now it's all gone, Dan.
Oh, well, okay, well.
All right. What I need. Here is my goal, Dan. These are the things we're going to do. These are the platform I've given him because he and I are discussing it seriously. But here's the key for you, is we live in a culture of personality. We have for a long time. Even before Trump. My friends have been sick of hearing about it for 20 years. 20 years I've been a socialist Democrat. I believe these things. I am really doing this because, you know, my son is 17 and I would say he's ashamed of me. He's known my entire life that I've wanted to fix this
Please keep
country.
on talking for another 20 minutes.
Yes!
No.
I love that guy.
That's D'Artagnan.
It won't happen. It won't happen. No, D'Artagnan's not here. So
I don't know what that's accomplishing, by the way. I don't
yeah, and I don't want to bore you guys, and I'm sorry, Dan. Dan just was kind of questioning whether this was serious because I sounded like a dork. You know, he's like, what's this going to be? It is serious. Here's what I need you for, Dan, is I am going to tell stars. I'm going to start Twitter wars with stars. You were my first domino.
Wait,
you
Twitter
proved my concept.
Wait, Twitter wars?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's explore that.
Okay.
What do these Twitter wars do?
Okay. So we live in a world of Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay. Trump proved it.
Sure.
I think stars are part of the problem. The ultra-liberal stars think that something's being accomplished by them getting likes on their tweets or by them throwing a dinner for someone.
Sure.
And I've got a list of 20 stars, I think I handed it to you, that it's okay,
Oh.
it's okay. Don't. I know, I'm sorry, guys, I'm sorry. Again, this might pay off with throw up everywhere,
Oh,
okay?
it'll pay off.
No, don't do it. Don't.
Oh, it's too early. Oh, no.
All right, number one. Voting holiday election reform. But
Number two.
No, go back to the Twitter one.
So, one of the problems you're solving up here is your son being embarrassed or hating you. What was that?
No. Okay, you ready? Well, no. I also want to.
We're fixing that tonight.
I want socialist Democrats. I want to fix the world. My son has just heard about this for his entire life. And
Sure.
you know, and it's like I said, I had to get a normal job. I work a union job. I work check to check, just like everybody.
Number two.
Number two. You know what? I gave you the pin, right?
Oh my God.
All right. Hey, if they gave awards for comptrollers, you would get it. So I need. All right.
So what are the Twitter wars?
Okay. Spencer.
They're supposed to energize these celebrities by shaming them?
Here it is. Shame and hope. Yes, here it is.
Two great tastes that go great together.
The pistons of a...
Through shame and hope. Absolutely. I love.
You got hope in my shame. You got shame in my hope.
Hey,
this is delicious.
Get back out here.
You're getting
Jeff is hiding because you're...
I need him for my music cue.
No, you're
wielding an implement. It's like
no, you
Crispin
can't go.
Glover and
Number
Kevin
one's
Kline
the most
had a
important
child.
part. Go back to number one.
So,
all right.
We really got to get through.
All right,
first.
I'll try.
Yeah,
we don't have to get through the list. The most important thing is the first thing, everybody.
Cult of
Trump was
personality.
elected. Well, cult of personality, I need your help with. Maybe we can talk so I don't bore the shit
Trump's
out of
more
these people.
popular than Dan.
No, it's fine. What
Okay.
the problem is these stars need to either put up or shut the fuck up.
Right.
I'm going to go at these people. Bill Maher is our next shot.
Number 5.
No. So, no. Number one's the important one. We just need number one. Just number one. Okay, so the key is, everybody remember, you're going to hear it all the time. Only 26% of the people elected Trump. 26%. 47% of the motherfuckers all stayed home. And just don't care, but then they bitch every day.
Sure.
I'm afraid to ask for, an audience participation of who didn't vote.
I'll be the audience participation.
All right.
Don't go blame
Here we go.
them before you fucking.
Here we go. Here we go.
Be compassionate.
What we're gonna do first thing, I'm gonna get all these stars to run on this. All right.
We gotta get through this.
No, we don't have to get through them all.
No, we need to.
No,
I need us to get through this.
No, we can't. They will. No, they don't.
No, we're making it happen until you stop making it happen. We gotta keep it going.
I fucking love you.
Just
okay?
keep it going.
I love you.
I just need you to say more words on the subject.
Oh, you want?
Okay, I feel like
All right, we can't jump around.
All right.
All right, America works. It's going to solve all the problems. We're going to get free college, and people are going to fix things. But we can't go there.
Okay, at this point, I think we have some ideas of your platforms. You're a third party. You're coming. You're going to fix everything.
Through the cultural personality.
And then everyone will love it. Right. So there's this, this South Park sketch, these underpants gnomes. They're like, step 1, collect underpants. Step 2, step 3, profit. That's the problem I'm having here. The step 2 involves create a third party, infiltrate the two-party system, which by the way, the two parties control the electoral system and the voting system. So if you wanted to make voter change, you'd actually have to you'd have to join the parties, because those are the people who vote on the voting laws. So you literally could not affect voting reform if you were a third party. You'd have to join the Republicans and the Democrats and get both of those parties to change their voting. And you need to do that before you can have a viable third party in the first place. So I feel like even all your policies are what I'd consider standard social policies that are very helpful and very good.
But they're good, yeah.
But they're not going.
I agree.
But
I
you
agree.
can't. But without this first step, you can't enact any of that. And that's like asking. That's like saying, okay, I got this plan, delivery stuff. All I have to do is fly, and then I could deliver all these packages. It'll be easy. But that's really hard, and that. In our Twitter interaction and today, it's been completely glossed over in a way that I think we have to, come to terms with before we can really go forward, because I think we can all agree that it's important to make the world better.
Yeah. Woo! Okay, I got my hand up. And you're 100% right.
Yes, no, I am.
Except, it can be done through the Senate if I can get 4 to 6 seats, and if some of those seats are famous people.
46 Congress
No,
seats?
426, right?
426. 426.
So let's say 6
426 seats?
You're on the ball.
That was better than you guys reacted to. Good joke, Chick. Good job,
okay.
Jeff.
Okay.
This is what I'm counting on. Is if I can get some people involved that can make some noise that will be listened to, sadly just because they're stars, we will be able to disrupt the Senate, because the Senate's the key. What Bernie did wrong, and I love Bernie and I hate Bernie. He took my plan and ruined it. You can't do it, you're right. You're right about you can't do it on a presidential basis. But the Senate is a place, because of the way the Senate works, 4 to 6 seats could stop everything till we get that.
So how many votes does it take to get 1 seat? Like, how many people would it take to vote a Senate seat?
Now, this is the great part. It has to happen on 2018.
I think you got this whole room, first of all. These people are all...
I don't think so. I think they just want me to shut the fuck up.
Oh, you got that? You got that from him?
Yeah. I think, but it's not going to happen until he says so, because... Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Well, I'm not going to say so. It's not evening at the Apollo. I'm not going to have somebody sweep you off the stage.
And I'm not going to go through this whole thing. This has been a long show.
And if crazy people weren't allowed on the stage, where would we stop?
Right. Right.
Like, where would we stop enforcing that rule?
Right.
I like people think like I
Yeah,
think
we got to be thinking about this stuff.
Well, Dan.
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather have these conversations than not have them. So, anyways, why am I justifying myself to you? Keep telling us your political plan.
Okay. Well, let's concentrate on the important part that he's bringing up.
It's very important.
Because this is what we've been fighting about, him and I.
Right.
You're one of the people, Dan, that I can't say to you because I love you too much, but we're at the point, you hate what's going on as much as me, where it's time for people in your position to put up or shut up, to either get the fuck out of it or get into it. And all I'm going to be telling people on my list is, work part-time for a couple years. You can still tour. You can still do shit, and you can still be a senator. You can do it, and they will listen to you.
You want me to be a senator?
No.
He wants Natalie Portman to be a senator.
No. Dan?
He wants Natalie Portman to be a senator or something. Something
and
like
he's
that.
using me to get to Natalie Portman.
Yeah!
No,
but I don't think you can get me to Natalie
Didn't you see the
Portman.
bubble chart?
no,
on the last
you're using
page?
me to get to
I'm using
Will
you to-
Wheaton, and Will Wheaton.
Oh, wait, here we go. Hold on.
I for one,
This is how. Hey, Dan, I don't
Yeah,
know.
see,
I'm
this
hoping for
came
better.
out way
I'm
too
using
early.
you for Ackerman, Proops, Paul F. Tompkins.
You're gonna build from me to Ackerman? Get the fuck out of here!
you just said you're not going to kick people off.
I'm not getting drawn into this. But that almost did it.
Ackerman.
Now,
Senator Ackerman, you have the floor.
sorry, Ackerman's on tour right now. He committed 20%.
Would Senator Natalie Portman please keep it down for a moment?
Thank you. Now, Dan, I have dreams you could get me to Clooney, but I just didn't want to jump too far. Okay.
Right. I've been in this situation before where people. Yeah. Well, so you're. I mean, you know that.
I know that,
insulting.
and I'm not
You know
saying
that.
I'm not saying throw a holiday party, invite me so I
I
can
don't
bore
think he
them.
knows. You should explain that because maybe
Well, of
people
course
don't
it's insulting.
understand.
Like it's a very, look, I'd be it would be very hypocritical of me to decry narcissism, but you clearly.
That's the way the world works.
You have this agenda. You don't care about, you I have this pulpit. You have an opportunity to connect with these people. I've given you their time.
You're safe.
And all we've heard so far is that you're hoping to get as many famous people as possible to build up to something.
Yeah, I'm just afraid this will bore them. But go ahead.
And you're also like, it seems a little bit like you've learned what to do by watching Trump.
Oh, God, I had this, and this drives me crazy. I've been telling my friends, and they all know because they've listened to this for so many years. And I was so worried. I said, you know what everybody's going to say, baby, is they're all going to say, I'm reacting to Trump.
Right.
No, I decided to run.
Well, no, I think it's good to react to Trump.
But
no, I don't think
he
you should
just
overreact to Trump. I just don't think you should emulate him necessarily.
And I wish it wasn't the case, but our society is a cult of personality, and you know it as well as anybody.
But maybe that's the problem. Maybe
it's the problem, but it's going to get used one more time. Okay, here's my analogy. I tell my friends: the cult of personality is a loaded gun in the middle of the table.
Sure.
The Democrats are on one side, the Republicans are on the other side. They are going to use that loaded gun in 2018. Remind me why it has to be 2018.
Because we gotta flip the Senate.
What?
We gotta flip the Senate.
Okay.
Wait, okay, hold on.
Yep.
I think what this is a big conversation because we are in this post-fact world and it's like Democrats have to decide, are we going to be post-truth or are we going to be truth? And so I think what you're talking about is valuable. But I would say that my trepidation is that Republicans and the GOP are bathed in lies and they're bathed in dishonesty, and that's their wheelhouse. So the idea that we're going to be able to fight on that level strikes me as kind of, I don't know, it's just because we're noobs and they're like, they're the mob kind of.
Yeah,
it just seems like it's unfair. We have the truth on our side, so like we could bring that to bear. But like I don't know that playing their tricks is like, and that's a question I've had with myself because it might be that's the answer. But I feel like
we've lost
it seems
before
hard.
we've fought them. If we look at their
exactly.
tactics and go like, you know what they did that made them win?
Right.
They got on Twitter and they tweeted racist memes that weren't. It's like but that and in my personal opinion, that's the problem with the bipartisan system is that the Democrats have already become that. They always every 4 years they always go, oh, you know what the Republicans did. Anyways, but you're wearing a kilt.
I say we wrap. I say you guys.
This was a strategic decision.
We wrap it out. I think we have to wrap this shit out.
Oh, damn it!
You got to fucking wrap.
Let's. What? So you drove from Washington, or you flew from Washington?
Yeah. Okay. So.
What did the plane ticket cost? Maybe we.
No. I mean, it was too much for me, but no. What I need from this is I've gotten exposure. If people would just go to the Human Party on Facebook, there's more about it.
The Human Party on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a real thing, and I guess
aren't you, John, worried though about Natalie Portman's very notable stance on the state of Israel?
She loves it.
And
she's Israeli.
She can't get
her hawkish foreign policy.
Yeah, but she's a stepping stone to Amy Adams. Yeah. fuck humanity. It's all just a fucking carnival to you.
I wish it wasn't the case.
The thing that upsets me most, Dan, is that I've known you for many years, and I didn't know you could get me to Ackerman.
Oh, well, no, not in one step. Not in one step. I'm sure not in one step.
No, he's got to.
Yeah. He'll probably go through one of the engineers or something.
He's got to go through the Sklar brothers. You know.
Okay, the reason all this is this way is because these people, your audience, they love to support crowdfunding. The only way I can do this is through crowdfunding.
Right.
I've seen dreams happen on your show through crowdfunding. And I will never compete with money. I can only do this if my crowdfund hits. Otherwise, I have to go back to my normal job.
What do you call it? What are we going to? What's the site?
It's not ready yet, because they say to be ready first.
Okay, now here's your problem.
No, they say to be ready first, and they're going to go to the human party, and then I'm going to have the date set.
Right.
And that's so that I'm driving to the human party, setting the date. They say you need to have your money lined up before you start your crowdfunding.
Yeah.
So you're not supposed to start too early.
Okay.
Damn it.
What?
I love you so much.
I'm on your side.
All right.
We're all on your side.
So the thing is,
I'm actually not on your side. I'm like the devil that showed up to destroy your dreams. And I'm going to keep talking because that's horrible. But I do think that you don't like something that's called the cult of personality.
It's a fact of life.
Yeah, right. You don't like it, but you're using it. Like
it's the loaded gun, and they're going to use it if we don't.
But that
they used it.
What we're looking for
worse in 2018. They're going to use
what
it
we're
worse.
looking for as a humankind is an answer to problems, not using the problems.
That 5 list, that's the answer. It's that 5 list.
Yeah, but this Twitter war of yours,
love it. Yep.
Believe me,
I also have something called telephone terrorism.
I read every item on this. I feel like you're using poison.
I am
for health.
I am,
and I don't. Okay.
Okay, because
I'll riff a pitch, like putting my money where my mouth is. What if we were able to use the current bipartisan system? We were able to start locally, create, do community stuff. Call ourselves Democrats, but we're Blue Shield Democrats.
No, we're leftists.
We're log cabin Democrats. You know, we're people that actually care about we blah blah blah, and we give interest-free loans to people.
We should call it like something that everyone can access, like the human party. Or something.
All right. Well, anyways, I'm not gonna. I'll pitch that next episode. But it's good. That,
I thought he was just it was gonna be a guy in a kilt that gave us drugs. I didn't know it was gonna fucking go.
Well, okay,
you didn't know he was gonna give us the keys to Ackerman.
Ackerman. What about proofs? I don't even know if
it
you
doesn't
can do
even
proofs.
look like I'm directly I get you to Ackerman. Oh, contacts. Okay.
As goes Ackerman,
Paul
so goes the
Tompkins,
country.
Spesser. Okay.
No, okay, see, and I'm starting small because I have very little confidence in myself. I don't think I can get Clooney yet.
Right. No, I know. I'm very insulted by all of this. Yes. I get it.
Well, who should I have mentioned? Because that's my problem.
Dan Harmon, the guy.
No, you should have.
No, Dan has to be behind the scenes. Dan has to be the man. He's the heart. Dan, you don't want to run, right?
No, I don't.
No, he doesn't.
Right now, I want to run. Yeah. I want to hide. I want to duck. I want to cover.
Oh my God.
No, we can. But it's 10 o'clock. But I do I don't want you to be mocked and ridiculed. And,
no,
I don't
that's
want you
okay.
to be deflated. I think that I'm fucking crazy right now. Like I feel like there's Nazis taking over the
So let's
White
do
House.
something about it.
I'm alarmed about it. I don't. The stuff that I'm seeing written on your giant pads, everything I've seen, I don't see.
This is the key.
I don't see anything that I disagree with.
This will change everything.
We definitely need to election reform. We definitely need
this will change it all.
Stuff. But I also agree with Spencer that we have to think strategically.
Even 4 to 6 Senate seats is a huge accomplishment.
And it will stop everything if there are people that get listened. If they are listened to, if there are people that are listened to, stars, sadly. It will happen. People will watch C-SPAN to see what happens when we're on the floor. They will stop to watch if they see that. Oh my God!
You got a guy from Westworld. You could ask him.
Great. Do you want to run?
No, thank you.
Okay.
Within 3 years, if you start with a friendship with him, Anthony Hopkins.
Oh.
You could quickly be in a war with Anthony Hopkins. Imagine that.
Let's hear for John Rothwell, everybody. John
Rothwell. Go to Human Party.
Human Party.
Human Party on Facebook.
Human Party on Facebook. Thank you, John. We love you. John.
And you know who got bumped? Miranda Harmon, who was here. Remember her from many episodes ago.
Oh, it's really bad.
You got bumped.
Oh, there you are. Yeah. How are you? Jane texted that you were here. Remember Miranda Harmon? No relation. She made this amazing. Where can people see that comic that you made about coming to Harmontown?
Come grab the mic real quick, Miranda. Come up on stage for us. Miranda, everybody. Harmontown success story.
So my website is mirandaharmon.com, and Harmontown the comic is on there, and I have copies of the zines for you guys.
Oh shit!
That's great. And when we met, you were an aspiring artist, right?
Yeah.
You wanted to. You
And
talked about...
guess what?
What?
I'm a cartoonist now.
One dream at a time. But our show didn't make that possible. Your talent did, right?
It helps.
Yay.
Well, that comic. It turns out a lot of people listen to Harmontown. I didn't know that.
Tell that to John Rossfeld, who thinks that only if enough. Yeah. Oh, whatever. I got Natalie Portman on speed dial. That's the joke's on him.
I can get you Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. Remember when the fappening happened? I had to change my iCloud password because of Cameron Diaz.
That's a true
One
story.
degree of separation.
I appeared on Harmontown with Steve Agee, who appeared alongside Kevin Bacon in Super, I think.
Anyways.
Wow, that's fast.
So are you living in LA now? Where are you?
No, I still live in Florida, but I'm moving here within the month.
All right. What's your cartoon? What is your cartoon that you are cartoonisting?
Oh no! I'm a comic artist. Like I make comics for.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah. No. I mean, yeah.
You working for other people, or have you?
Not yet.
Okay. So you just great. Your cocoon has been breached.
Yeah. I'm actually here because I'm like tabling at a comics convention. That's why.
Nice. Signing some stuff.
Well,
Get your portfolio out there.
Can you plug something for us so we can find it? Like, can you say that to the fans?
Just like mirandaharmon.com. That's me.
All right.
Yeah.
Love it. I've seen a little on Instagram today, or maybe Facebook, that Jane may have posted of one of your little Harmontown comics. It's very
Jane's
cute.
been very sweet about it.
Yeah, Jane's a sweetie.
Yeah.
Jane is the official like she's like coordinating all of the fandom on Facebook and everything.
Well, no,
there was a guy that was like having suicidal ideology, and then like he was off the grid, and then like Jane I'm hearing this all third hand because I can't get involved. I'm too busy running for Senate. But yeah, Jane. Just props to Jane. I mean, Jane's like out there coordinating, and I don't know. Just like there's a little family that's like ancillarily related to Harmontown that doesn't even have to do with whether I'm a good or a bad person. It's like oh, we all like Cheetos and we're good people. Like Cheetos doesn't have to be good for you. I like that. It doesn't have to be. I don't have to. If I joined that Facebook group, for instance, within 2 weeks it would be decimated because I'd be like, man, I jerked off and I'm still mad about season 4, and everybody'd be like, I don't like this. It feels toxic. And I like that there could be a little that the maypole doesn't have to be me.
Yeah, I mean, when I
respond to that.
I made that comic a year ago, and I didn't really know about that. And Jane immediately reached out to me, and she was super sweet, and she wrote me this very nice message I still think about. She's very and she got me like into that. Like I didn't know because when Harmontown was like my lifeline like years ago, like it really felt like there were only like a few of us listening. I didn't realize there were so many people who listened to the show.
Weren't you kind of down when we met you? I mean, this is like yeah.
I was like super. I was like.
We asked you like someone out there going through any pain, and you laid some heavy stuff on us.
Yeah, you didn't disappoint. You were right.
I was super depressed. I mean,
which was neat. We loved it. But
That's a very
by my memory,
that's like a paramedic thing for emotion. It's like, oh, look how horrible
I
she's.
should be an emotional EMT because I have like this. Yeah,
You guys share pictures.
But I'm just saying, like it's wonderful to see you. I also don't want to worship at the altar of like too many people in our audience. Like that's the story we hear over and over again. It's like that thing of like smiling and being happy and clean and bright and shiny doesn't make you a good person. It doesn't mean that your life is on the right track, but it's also at the same time, it's nice to see somebody like that was down in the roller coaster be up on it. I don't know. I'm drunk and the show's over. Right now. But so go to MirandaHarmon.com, then go to Facebook, Harmon Party.
Type in the special code Ackerman for a free T-shirts. See you next time, everybody. Thanks for coming to Harmon.
See you next week. Totally Slocum. Let's have him back, right?
Thank you, guys.
Amazing.
Totally Slocum. Adam and Katrina are EMTs extraordinaire. John Roswell, right? Rosfeld. All right, everybody. Drive fast, take chances, pull over to the left when you see those sirens.
Feral Audio.